In the future, I have completely broken away from that cold and hypocritical marriage. I have taken full custody of my daughter Lucy, cut off all contact with my betrayer husband Colton, and rebuilt a warm, safe, and worry-free life for my child and myself. Colton, the man who relied on my high income to idle for years, embezzled my child's living expenses, betrayed the marriage, and abused his own daughter, has completely fallen into the abyss of ruin. His perfect persona of a devoted stay-at-home father and gentle husband, which he has maintained for many years, has been completely shattered in front of the whole society. All neighbors, relatives, and friends have seen through his ugly and selfish true face. He lost all social reputation, was completely excluded from the upper-middle-class social circle, had all embezzled funds recovered by legal procedures, and was forced to pay huge child abuse compensation and divorce alimony. The mistress who spent my child's living expenses with him also abandoned him instantly after he went bankrupt and lost his reputation. He ended up alone, impoverished and infamous, suffering the lifelong retribution he deserved. My daughter Lucy, who suffered long-term hunger, neglect, and psychological abuse, has completely healed her inner trauma under my careful company and guidance. She is no longer the timid, thin, and inferior little girl who curled up in the corner and picked up garbage to eat. She has become cheerful, confident, and healthy, enjoying the warmest parental love and superior living conditions. I finally got rid of the wrong marriage that consumed me and hurt my child, regained absolute emotional and economic freedom, and completed the ultimate redemption of myself and my daughter. But the deepest pain in my heart has never faded. I still remember the moment when I saw the kindergarten video, the moment that completely shattered my cognition and made my heart bleed. That moment was the turning point of all tragedies and the starting point of all my revenge. Now, the future victory timeline triggers the time regression mechanism, pulling my consciousness back to that devastating day, letting me start all over again and use a more thorough and powerful method to liquidate all sins and protect my child. I am Clara, a senior executive of a financial investment company with a stable high income and independent economic ability. In order to let my daughter Lucy receive the most meticulous family care and companionship in her early childhood, I took the initiative to undertake all family economic pressure. I discussed with my husband Colton that he would quit his ordinary job and become a full-time stay-at-home father, responsible for taking care of Lucy's daily life, diet, study, and growth, while I worked hard outside to support the whole family. In order to ensure that Lucy has no worries about food, clothing, and life, I transfer a fixed alimony of $15,000 to Colton's personal account on the 5th of every month without interruption. This amount of money is far higher than the average family's monthly living expenses in this city. It is enough to make 4 people live a superior and comfortable life, let alone a 3-year-old child. I have always believed that with such sufficient living expenses, my daughter Lucy will grow up healthy, well-fed, and well-dressed under the careful care of her father. I work overtime every day, travel frequently, and devote almost all my time and energy to my career just to create a stable and superior growth environment for my child and a relaxed living condition for my husband. All my colleagues, friends, and neighbors praise Colton as a rare good father and good husband. They say he is dedicated to his family, takes good care of his children, and is gentle and responsible. For several years, Colton has maintained a perfect gentle family man persona in everyone's eyes. I have always been grateful for his dedication to the family in my busy career, and I have never suspected him of any deception or dereliction of duty. I even felt guilty for not being able to accompany my child often, so I kept increasing the monthly alimony to ensure that their mother and child have no material shortage. Until that afternoon, when I was in the middle of an important company meeting, my mobile phone received a private video message from Lucy's kindergarten head teacher, Ms. Lopez. The meeting was urgent, but the teacher's private message marked extremely important, related to the child's safety, made me immediately suspend the meeting and open the video. The video picture is blurry, shot from the kindergarten playground monitoring corner, but every frame is piercingly clear and heartbreaking. In the cold and windy autumn afternoon, other children are running, playing, and laughing on the clean playground, wearing neat and warm new clothes, holding exquisite snacks and toys in their hands. Only my 3-year-old daughter Lucy is thin and small, far thinner than all her peers. Her clothes are old, thin, and dirty, with obvious stains and wrinkles. She is alone, curled up in the dusty corner of the playground, far away from all the lively children. She lowered her head tightly, her small body trembling slightly due to hunger and cold, her eyes timid and inferior, completely without the liveliness and innocence that a child should have. In the next second, the picture made my blood freeze and my heart ache to the point of collapse. Lucy slowly stretched out her dirty little hand, picked up a chewed, discarded gum from the gravel on the ground, and without any hesitation or disgust, stuffed it directly into her small mouth and chewed it carefully. That dirty, garbage gum that no one would even glance at became her only snack to satisfy her hunger at that moment. My fingers holding the mobile phone trembled violently, and my whole body was cold and numb. The hot tears rushed out of my eyes uncontrollably, blurring the entire video picture. Immediately afterwards, I clicked on the teacher's attached voice message. Ms. Lopez's gentle voice was full of helplessness, heartache, and suppressed anger, with endless pity for my child. Ms. Clara, I'm sorry to disturb you during your working hours that I have held back for a long time and didn't dare to tell you. But today, I really can't bear it anymore. I saw Lucy picking up discarded gum on the playground to eat, and my heart was completely broken. Last week, another teacher in our class saw Lucy secretly licking the inner wall of a discarded empty potato chip bag on the ground after all the children finished eating snacks. She was so hungry that she was greedy for the residual oil and salt taste on the bag. Lucy is quiet and sensible, never takes the initiative to ask others for snacks, never makes trouble, and hides all her hunger and grievance silently. This poor child has been living in such a harsh environment for a long time. If your family is really facing economic difficulties recently, please tell us frankly. The kindergarten has public welfare resources and free meal subsidies. We can help the child through the difficult period. Please don't let such a young child suffer from hunger all the time. The teacher's words were like a sharp blade, piercing straight into my heart, cutting every inch of my flesh and blood. Economic difficulties? I transfer $15,000 to Colton every month on time, without interruption for 3 full years. This amount of money is enough to let Lucy wear brand new clothes every day, eat expensive imported snacks and 3 nutritionally balanced meals every day, and live a superior life that most children can't match. How could my child be so hungry that she can only pick up roadside garbage to satisfy her cravings? How could she suffer such inhuman neglect and suffering? My mind was blank for a moment, and endless heartache, anger, and confusion swept through my whole body. I immediately exited the video interface, opened my mobile banking app, and began to check all the transfer records in the past 3 years one by one, trembling all over. January 5th, $15,000 transferred successfully. February 5th, same amount arrived on time. March, April, May. Every month, on the fixed date, $15,000 are transferred to Colton's personal account accurately, without a single delay, without a single cent missing. All the alimony that should have been used for my daughter's food, clothing, housing, and transportation has arrived in Colton's account completely and intact. But my daughter has been starving for a long time, picking up garbage to eat and suffering from cold and neglect. A terrifying and cruel guess suddenly popped up in my mind. All the $15,000 monthly alimony was completely embezzled by Colton. None of it was spent on my daughter. At the moment when the guess took shape, my revenge system was officially activated. The 30-second dense secret burst countdown started instantly. Every 30 seconds, a brand new hidden secret of Colton's embezzlement, betrayal, and child abuse will burst out, continuously stacking his sins, letting me completely uncover his hypocritical mask and liquidate all his crimes little by little. I wiped away my tears fiercely, suppressed the trembling of my body, and my eyes turned from heartache to icy coldness. This time, I will no longer be foolishly grateful, no longer be deceived by his gentle disguise, no longer let my poor daughter suffer in silence. I will dig out all his hidden crimes, expose his ugly, true face to the whole world, let him pay the most painful price for abusing his daughter and betraying his marriage, and completely redeem my child's suffering and my own wrong years. Objective third-party commentary. As the opening chapter of this original reverse marriage abuse revenge cool text, the prologue adopts the advanced future victory regression setting, which instantly raises the plot pattern and avoids the single grievance narration of traditional family abuse texts. The core innovation lies in the reverse economic model plus extreme child abuse contrast. The female bearer provides high monthly alimony, but the parasitic male guardian embezzles funds to abuse children. The sharp contrast between sufficient funds and child's miserable suffering forms a strong emotional impact, which instantly detonates the audience's empathy and anger. The female lead's character is perfectly established at the beginning. She is a rational, responsible, and loving career woman who sacrifices her time and energy to create a good family environment, and her subsequent revenge is completely based on justice and redemption, with extremely high emotional support. The single core villain's hypocrisy is fully foreshadowed. The external perfect father persona and internal cruel, neglectful behavior form a huge cognitive contrast, laying a solid foundation for the subsequent persona collapse and dimensionality reduction crushing. The 30-second secret burst mechanism is officially launched, paving the way for the dense high-energy plot of the full text, ensuring that the subsequent climax rhythm is compact and the cool points are continuously stacked. Chapter 1 First 30-second secret burst. Core fund embezzlement scam exposed. First layer ironclad evidence locked. 50% super high climax officially launched. After confirming that all monthly alimony arrived on time without omission, my heart was completely chilled. I stood in the empty company conference room. The aftertaste of the child's miserable appearance in the video was still lingering in my mind. Every time I recalled Lucy's thin figure picking up garbage to eat, my heart ached sharply like being torn apart. For 3 whole years, I've been working hard outside, sacrificing countless rest time, just to give my child a worry-free life. But I never thought that my hard-earned money would become the capital for my husband's pleasure, and my child would suffer from hunger and cold in the so-called warm family. Colton has been lying to me all the time. His gentleness, dedication, and careful child care are all fake performances. All his good father and good husband personas are built on my child's pain and my foolish trust. I took a deep breath, forced myself to calm down, and waited for the end of the first 30-second countdown, waiting for the first core hidden secret to reveal the truth. 30 seconds passed quickly, and the first heavy secret that overturned all cognition exploded in my mind with complete and irrefutable ironclad evidence. First core secret. Colton has completely embezzled all $15,000 monthly alimony for 3 consecutive years. None of the funds are used for Lucy's diet, clothing, and living. All are transferred to his mistress's personal consumption account on the same day every month. Colton has maintained an extramarital relationship with a young leisure industry woman named Mia for 3 full years, exactly the same time as he became a full-time stay-at-home father. Every month, within 2 hours after receiving the $15,000 transferred by me, he will transfer $12,000 to Mia's private account, and the remaining $3,000 are used for his own smoking, drinking, game recharge, and daily entertainment. For 3 years, Lucy's daily living expenses are almost zero, and he never took the initiative to buy new clothes, snacks, fruits, and nutritional meals for his daughter. He even saved the child's kindergarten meal subsidy for his own consumption. He uses my hard-earned high salary to support his mistress's luxury life, buying designer bags, limited edition cosmetics, brand new clothes for Mia, taking her to high-end restaurants for dinner, and traveling out of town every month. While he and his mistress are spending money freely and enjoying a luxurious life, his own biological daughter is hungry every day, wearing old and worn clothes, and can only pick up roadside garbage to satisfy her hunger. Matched ironclad evidence. 3-year full-month fund transfer flow records, real name transaction vouchers between Colton and Mia, mistress luxury consumption records corresponding to alimony arrival time, and chat records of the two showing off embezzled funds. The audience's anger completely exploded in an instant. This is no longer a simple dereliction of duty, but a cruel, selfish, and cold-blooded crime. The villain's behavior completely subverts the bottom line of human nature, and the contrast between the mistress's luxury life and the child's miserable hunger makes people furious. My fingers holding the mobile phone kept trembling, and my eyes were cold and sharp enough to freeze everything. I finally understand why Lucy has been thin and weak, why she is extremely inferior and timid, why she never takes the initiative to ask for snacks, and why she is always quiet and sensible beyond her age. She has been hungry for too long, endured too long of neglect, and has long been used to not expecting any warmth and care from her father. And Colton, the man I trusted most and felt guilty about, has been cheating on me for 3 years, embezzling my child's living expenses to support his mistress, and letting his own daughter suffer in hell while he indulges in pleasure. I immediately saved all the fund flow records and transaction vouchers and classified and sorted out all the ironclad evidence one by one. I did not choose to rush home to question him, because I knew that a single fund embezzlement secret was far from all his crimes. The 30-second secret burst mechanism is still running continuously, and more hidden sins are waiting for me to uncover. At this time, Colton sent me a daily gentle greeting message as usual, pretending to be a dedicated husband and father. "Honey, I've prepared Lucy's favorite beef porridge tonight. The weather is cold. I've dressed her warmly. Don't work too hard outside. Come home early. We'll wait for you." Looking at this hypocritical and disgusting message, I sneered coldly in my heart. Beef porridge? Warm clothes? It's all fake performances woven with lies. The man who sends gentle greetings is a cold-blooded devil who lets his daughter eat garbage and starve. I replied calmly, "I have a temporary business trip tonight. I won't go home. Take good care of Lucy. I need enough time to collect all the evidence, let this hypocritical man completely fall into the abyss, and pay for every bit of his evil deeds." Objective third-party commentary. This chapter officially kicks off the full-scale, high-energy climax of the story. The first 30-second secret burst directly exposes the core crime of the villain's 3-year continuous fund embezzlement and extramarital affair, completely crushing the villain's gentle persona in one fell swoop. The plot adopts a progressive truth-uncovering rhythm, from the child's miserable phenomenon to the internal fund embezzlement essence, with rigorous logic and strong shock. The contrast between the mistress's luxury consumption and the child's hunger and suffering maximizes the audience's anger and the cool sense of subsequent revenge. The female lead's rational and calm character is fully highlighted. After discovering the shocking truth, she does not lose her mind or impulse, but chooses to stabilize the villain and secretly collect evidence with mature and sophisticated revenge wrist. The core villain's human nature is completely stripped. He is not lazy or incompetent, but extremely selfish and cold-blooded. He clearly knows the child's suffering but ignores it, and even uses the child's living expenses to satisfy his own desires, with zero bottom line of morality and human nature. Chapter 2 second and third 30-second secret bursts, long-term child abuse and neighbor accomplice shielding exposed, continuous super high climax. After replying to Colton's hypocritical message, I left the company conference room and came to the quiet office lounge, continuing to wait for the follow-up dense secret bursts, uncovering more hidden truths that Colton had covered up for 3 years. The first secret exposed the core fund embezzlement and marriage betrayal. 30 seconds later, the second core, heavy secret burst out instantly, completely exposing the villain's long-term deliberate child abuse crime. Second core secret. Colton's child neglect is not accidental, but long-term deliberate abuse. He regularly locks Lucy alone in the bedroom for a whole day every week, does not provide any food and water, and punishes her cruelly for no reason. In the 3 years of being a stay-at-home father, Colton has long been tired of taking care of his child. He thinks Lucy is noisy and troublesome, which delays his dating and entertainment time with his mistress. In order to save trouble and free up more private time, he has implemented fixed abuse punishment on Lucy for a long time. Every Wednesday and weekend, he will lock the 3-year-old child alone in the dark bedroom, cut off all food and water supply, and leave her to cry and fear alone. He often goes out to date his mistress for a whole day, leaving Lucy alone at home without anyone taking care of her. The child can only look for leftover cold food in the kitchen by herself, and if she can't find any, she can only endure hunger all day long. The reason why Lucy is extremely timid, afraid of strangers, and never dares to ask for help is that she has been locked up and abused for a long time, forming a serious psychological shadow and fear of being abandoned and punished. Matched ironclad evidence. Community monitoring records of Colton going out alone for many times, bedroom door lock access records, early childhood psychological consultation report. The female lead previously thought it was caused by timidity, but it was actually abuse trauma. The audience's anger escalated sharply again. IT turns out that the child's suffering is not only material hunger, but also long-term mental abuse and solitary confinement punishment. The villain's cruelty far exceeds imagination. My nose was sour, and the heartache was so intense that I could barely breathe. My poor little Lucy, who is only 3 years old, should have been held in the palm of her hand and loved, but she endured endless loneliness, fear, and hunger in the cold home alone. And her biological father, who is supposed to protect her, is the perpetrator of all her pain. I clenched my fists tightly, my nails sinking into my palm, and my eyes became colder and more determined. This man is not worthy of being a husband or a father at all. He must pay the most painful price. 30 seconds later, the third core secret burst out, officially expanding the single villain crime into a multi-person evil accomplice group, exposing the hidden shielding behavior of surrounding people. Third core secret. The surrounding neighbors have long discovered Colton's child abuse and abnormal behavior, but they choose to shield him for a long time. They jointly maintain his perfect persona and hide the truth for fear of affecting the community's reputation. The elderly neighbors living upstairs and downstairs have long seen Colton go out alone for many times, heard Lucy's lonely crying in the empty room, and found that the child is thin and poorly dressed all year round. But Colton has always maintained a gentle and honest image in the community. Neighbors have always thought he is a good man who sacrifices his career to take care of his family. They think the child's thinness is a natural physical problem, and they take the initiative to help Colton cover up his abnormal going out and child crying. They even took the initiative to explain to outsiders that Lucy is quiet by nature and doesn't like to eat, helping Colton whitewash his dereliction of duty and abuse, becoming invisible accomplices of the child's pain. Matched ironclad evidence. Neighbors' daily chat records, community public area witness testimony, and community internal discussion records of covering up abnormal situations. The audience's emotions completely surged to the boiling point. The blindness and shielding of the surrounding people let the villain's evil deeds continue for 3 years without being discovered, making the child's suffering last longer. The scope of evil is completely expanded, and the revenge targets are more comprehensive. I sorted out the 3 batches of ironclad evidence in my mind, and the whole truth gradually became clear. Colton's 3-year marriage betrayal, full alimony embezzlement, long-term child physical and mental abuse, plus the collective shielding of community neighbors, jointly created my daughter's 3-year miserable life and my 3-year foolish trust. I opened the chat interface with a kindergarten teacher and replied sincerely, "Thank you for your kindness and reminder, Ms. Lopez. I have found out the truth of the matter, and I will solve all the problems completely and never let my child suffer any more grievances. Please help me keep all the monitoring videos of Lucy in the kindergarten in recent months, which is very important." The teacher quickly replied, "I have backed up all the videos privately. I have long felt that Lucy's family situation is abnormal. I hope you can protect the child well." With the teacher's evidence assistance, my evidence chain is more complete and solid. At this time, Colton sent another message, still pretending to be attentive. "Honey, Lucy has finished her dinner and is watching cartoons obediently. I'll wait for you to come home." Looking at the fake words, I completely lost all my last affection for this man. Obediently watching cartoons? I'm afraid the child is hungry and hiding in the corner, enduring loneliness and fear silently. I was no longer soft-hearted and began to sort out all the evidence in batches, waiting for more secret bursts to stack crimes and preparing for the ultimate public trial and complete collapse of the villain. Objective third-party commentary. This chapter continues the ultra-dense 30-second secret burst rhythm, realizing the layered escalation of crimes from economic embezzlement to physical and mental abuse, and then to accomplish shielding, which greatly enriches the depth and 3-dimensional sense of the plot. The plot digs into the hidden social evil of blindly praising superficial good people and shielding hidden crimes, breaking the simple family conflict mode, and making the story have realistic social satire significance beyond cool revenge. The core villain's crime is completely upgraded. From financial betrayal to cruel child abuse, his human nature is completely bankrupt, and the audience's anger is fully stimulated, laying an absolute emotional foundation for the subsequent thorough crushing. The female lead's behavior is more rational and perfect. She actively unites with the kindergarten teacher to fix evidence, steadily improves the evidence chain, and every step of the layout is precise and effective, showing the mature wisdom of a strong female avenger. Chapter 3/4/8 continuous secret bursts, full evil group coverage, and 3-year complete truth restoration. Ultimate super climax. Time passes steadily, and the 30-second secret burst mechanism continues to operate without interruption. 5 consecutive core, heavy secrets burst out, completely restoring all the hidden evil deeds of Colton and his accomplice group in 3 years, covering all crime dimensions, and making the villain's sins completely stacked without omission. 30 seconds after the 3rd secret, the 4th core secret exploded. 4th core secret. Colton uses the identity of a devoted stay-at-home father to apply for various community public welfare subsidies and family care allowances every year, defrauding public funds, while hiding all subsidy income and continuing to embezzle the female lead's alimony. Relying on his perfect family man persona, Colton has successfully applied for community single-parent care subsidies, family difficulty allowances, and child growth public welfare funds for many times in 3 years, accumulating more than $20,000 of fraudulent public funds. He clearly has a high monthly alimony of $15,000, but he pretends to have a difficult family economy to defraud public welfare funds. All the defrauded funds are also used for dating and consumption with his mistress, and none of them are used for the child. Matched ironclad evidence, public welfare subsidy application records, community audit files, fund arrival flow, and subsequent consumption records. 30 seconds later, the 5th secret burst out. 5th core secret. Colton's mistress Mia clearly knows that Colton is married and has a daughter, and clearly knows that all her luxury consumption is the child's living expenses, but she takes the initiative to encourage Colton to embezzle more funds and abuse the child. Mia is not a passive third party. She has long known Lucy's existence and miserable situation. She often urges Colton to transfer more money, asks for more luxury gifts, and mocks Lucy as a burden that delays their love. She takes the initiative to ask Colton to lock the child out of sight when they date, and even suggests Colton send Lucy to a distant relative's home to avoid affecting their private life. Matched ironclad evidence. Intimate chat records between Mia and Colton, video call recordings of mocking the child, and consumption co-signature records. 30 seconds later, the 6th secret exploded. 6th core secret. Partial kindergarten staff have long known the child's abuse situation, but for the sake of the kindergarten's reputation and student source stability, they choose to conceal the truth and refuse to take the initiative to report. In addition to the kind teacher Lopez, several other kindergarten teachers and administrators have long found Lucy's abnormal hunger, timidity, and old clothes, and have guessed that the child is abused at home. But they worry that exposing the family's scandal will affect the kindergarten's reputation and cause parental disputes, so they choose to keep silent, only secretly taking care of Lucy a little in private, but never taking the initiative to expose the truth. 30 seconds later, the seventh secret burst out. Seventh core secret. Colton has long planned to completely abandon Lucy. He plans to embezzle a large amount of alimony to buy a house with his mistress and abandon the child and the female lead completely after accumulating enough funds. Colton's 3-year stay-at-home care is all a false layout. His ultimate goal is to continuously embezzle the female lead's high income, accumulate private funds with his mistress, and completely break off the marriage and parent-child relationship after achieving financial freedom. He has long discussed with Mia to buy a wedding house in the urban area, get married openly, and leave Lucy to the female lead alone, completely getting rid of the burden of raising a child. 30 seconds later, the eighth ultimate heavy secret burst out, pushing the audience's anger to the peak. Eighth core secret. Colton deliberately reduces Lucy's diet for a long time to make her thin and weak, so as to create the illusion of frail and sick child in front of outsiders, covering up his abuse and embezzlement crimes. In order to prevent others from suspecting that he abused the child, Colton deliberately controls Lucy's food intake all year round, making her always thin and small, far thinner than her peers. When neighbors and teachers ask, he pretends to be helpless and says that the child has a poor appetite and poor physical fitness, which perfectly covers up his long-term hunger abuse and makes everyone misunderstand that it is a physical problem, not man-made abuse. At this point, the full-scale evil group is completely covered. Core villain Colton, evil mistress Mia, shielding community neighbors, silent kindergarten staff, forming a complete closed-loop evil interest shielding chain. All 3-year hidden crimes are fully restored, and the evidence chain is perfect and impeccable. The audience's emotions completely exploded, from initial heartache to extreme rage. All the layered emotions are completely released. The villain's premeditated long-term abuse, fraud, and betrayal are completely exposed, and the revenge catharsis reaches the peak. I sorted out all 8 batches of ironclad evidence, including 3-year fund flow, abuse witness records, public welfare fraud files, mistress chat evidence, community shielding records, and future abandonment plans. All crimes are clear and irrefutable. My heart is completely firm. This time, I will never tolerate any evil. I will use all legal and public opinion means to completely crush Colton's perfect persona, let all accomplices pay the price, and completely redeem my child's 3 years of suffering. Objective third-party commentary. This chapter achieves the full-scale explosion climax of the story. 8 consecutive core secrets are dense and heavy, completely peeling off all the villain's disguises and expanding the evil group to all social contact dimensions, making the story's conflict full and 3-dimensional. The core villain's human nature is completely bankrupt, from fund embezzlement and marriage betrayal to long-term child abuse, public fund fraud, and premeditated abandonment. Every crime is premeditated and deliberate, with no room for forgiveness at all. The female lead's revenge motivation is completely sublimated. Her revenge is not only for personal marriage betrayal, but also for the child's 3 years of physical and mental trauma, and the injustice covered up by the collective evil of the surrounding people, with supreme justice. The plot foreshadowing is rigorous and solid. Every secret burst has matching ironclad evidence, and the layered truth restoration makes the subsequent public trial and villain collapse more reasonable and cathartic. Chapter 4: On-site evidence crushing. Persona complete collapse. Villain initial psychological breakdown. Continuous ultimate climax. After collecting all the ironclad evidence, I booked the earliest return ticket home and simultaneously contacted a professional divorce lawyer and a child protection public welfare lawyer, sorting out all the legal procedures needed for revenge and rights protection. I also took the initiative to contact the community committee and the kindergarten management, informing them that I would hold a public explanation meeting in the community activity hall tomorrow afternoon to disclose all the hidden truths of family abuse and fund fraud. All the neighbors who have shielded the evil, all the kindergarten staff who have concealed the truth, and all the relatives who have praised Colton's goodness must witness the complete collapse of this hypocritical man with their own eyes. On the night of my return home, I pushed open the door of the house where I had worked hard to maintain for 3 years. The house is clean and tidy on the surface, but every corner is full of hypocrisy and coldness. Colton was sitting on the sofa watching TV. wearing home clothes with a gentle and doting smile on his face. Lucy was sitting on the carpet beside him, holding a broken old toy, her small face pale and thin, her eyes timid, not daring to look up at anyone. Seeing me come back, Colton immediately got up to greet me, took my bag intimately, and pretended to be distressed. "Honey, you've worked hard on the business trip. I've kept the dinner warm for you. Look how well-behaved Lucy is today. She's been waiting for you to come home." He turned his head and touched Lucy's head casually, pretending to be a loving father. But I saw Lucy's small body tremble slightly instinctively, obviously having long-term conditioned fear of his touch. Lucy raised her head cautiously, looked at me with wet eyes, and wanted to get close to me, but dared not move, full of suppressed grievance and longing. Looking at this scene, my heart ached sharply, and the anger in my heart almost broke through the limit. I didn't respond to Colton's intimacy, avoided his hand indifferently, walked straight to Lucy, knelt down and hugged my thin and weak daughter tightly in my arms. The moment I held her, Lucy's small body trembled violently, and then she burst into silent tears, burying her little face in my neck, crying silently without making a sound, which made people heartbroken. "Baby, Mom is back. No one will bully you anymore. No one will make you hungry anymore." I patted her thin back gently, my voice cold and firm. Colton saw my cold attitude and Lucy's grieved reaction, and his face flashed a trace of unease, but he still pretended to be confused and gentle. "What's wrong with you two? Did you wrong the child outside?" I stood up slowly, holding Lucy tightly in my arms, looking straight at him with cold eyes, without any warmth or affection. "Colton, stop pretending I know all your crimes point 3 years of alimony embezzlement, extramarital betrayal, long-term child abuse, public fund fraud, and premeditated abandonment of your daughter. Every sin is clear and evidenced." As soon as my words fell, Colton's face changed drastically in an instant. The gentle smile on his face completely disappeared, replaced by panic and fluster that he couldn't hide. His eyes dodged violently, and he tried to pretend to be wronged and sophistry. "Honey, what are you talking about? I don't understand. How can you slander me like this? I have devoted all my time to the family and you and Lucy." "Devoted to the family?" I sneered coldly, took out my mobile phone, and projected the sordid 3-year fund flow records, mistress transfer vouchers, and chat records on the living room TV screen in full view. "You embezzle $15,000 of child living expenses every month to buy luxury goods for your mistress and travel and have fun. You lock your 3-year-old daughter in a dark room hungry all day, let her pick up roadside garbage to eat, and pretend to the outside world that you are a devoted good father. You defraud public welfare subsidies under the pretext of family difficulties and plan to abandon your daughter and elope with your mistress after accumulating enough funds. I ask this your dedication?" The clear and detailed evidence was displayed on the big screen one by one, and every word and every record was a fatal blow to Colton's hypocritical persona. Colton's face turned from flustered to pale, then to bloodless. His whole body began to tremble, and his sophistry words got stuck in his throat, unable to say a word. The perfect gentle husband and good father persona he has maintained for 3 years is completely shattered at this moment. Lucy lay in my arms, looking at the familiar uncle's flustered and terrified appearance, and finally dared to raise her head and whispered aggrievedly, "Mom, I'm hungry every day. Dad doesn't give me food. He locks me in a room." The child's childish and aggrieved voice was like the last straw that crushed Colton's psychological defense. Colton collapsed half kneeling,